happy to be able to talk to you today. Can you briefly introduce yourself and the Emerging Fellows Program?
Hi, Sheila. My name is Heba Alhadyian. I'm in 2023 APF Emerging Fellow. I'm based in Saudi Arabia, between Saudi Arabia and the United States. I'm an architect by education, but a strategic designer by training. I use foresight, design thinking, and agile methodology, and a mix of methods to facilitate client decision-making. A few years ago, my work in design and foresight did not intersect. I used to just take projects in separately, but I'm finding my way into incorporating those two disciplines into my design and innovation practice and work. The APF Emerging Fellow Program is a 2-year program for emerging futurists who are interested in advancing their career in foresight. How I became an Emerging Fellow is in 2022, when I volunteered in the APF Explore Next global event. I volunteered there. I met a lot of great futurists, and then I met one of them was Asma. And at that time, I really wanted to, I had gotten my graduate certificate in foresight from the University of Houston, but I really wanted to continue my professional development, but was not ready for another master's degree. I was, okay, what are my options here? So I came across Asma's profile. I had a conversation with her. I got to know the program. And then from there, I learned more about it and I considered it.
So when you were preparing for your applications, what do you think was the most challenging aspect of the application process, and what did you do about it?
Yeah, so overall, the application process was very straightforward. When the fellowship is announced for the next cohort, there are a couple of questions, I guess more than a couple of questions, to really understand your objective behind joining the program, as well as a question or two about a current issue. In my experience, I think this is where I spend the most time because I didn't really have a lot of experience relating to that specific question. So I had to educate myself by reading a lot about the problem space and by doing a typical scanning process of scouting for resources and understanding not only the nature of the problem itself, but also other futurists' perspective on the issue. And from there, I was able to build a case and to articulate my opinion in the application. I don't think there is a right or wrong answer to these questions. I think it's just a way for the committee or who's ever reviewing your application for them to really see your critical thinking skills and to see your foresight mindset through these answers.
So when you applied for the fellowship, what was your focus or problem?
My plan was in a two-pronged answer. The first one, at the time, and I'm still working on a cultural project where I examine the adoption of foresight in the Middle East, and especially in the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation countries. There is a boom in foresight adoption. However, there is still a lag in having the foundational skills and elements for that field to flourish. So I introduced that as a topic that I would like to explore, as well as creating content in Arabic for young professionals who are interested in foresight to really have it accessible. And I'm really excited for that because we've been working, and even through the fellowship, I've been connecting with so many futurists to help me through these two proposals.
Awesome. Can you share with us the resources available to you as an emerging fellow and how these resources have enhanced your experience as a fellow?
The resources available are not necessarily about spoon-feeding information. It's very organic discussion, get together, discuss a book chapter every month. There's a really great emphasis on the community learning and community building aspect. As a fellow, I feel we learn a lot from each other, and that's one of the resources and support in the program. We also have that opportunity from guest speakers, discussions. We learn from them how they got into the field and their experience and how they progressed in it. So the peer learning and expert learning discussions provide a really comprehensive learning experience and an opportunity for us as fellows to build a broader understanding of the field, because it's not really limited to one industry or one perspective or one worldview, which is really great. Another resource that I can think of is the writing. Our ability to write about what interests us as futurists or emerging fellows, as well as current issues, I think it provides a space for us to develop our communication skills as well as our craft. Because the writing assignments helped us a lot, and through the feedback that we get from our writing mentors and the emerging fellows, it enables us to really think critically about a problem or about a topic and work at writing it clearly to convey it to the community. The other one is the network and the accessibility. The one thing that really differentiates this program from other programs is the amazing network that you'll have access to. In my experience, I've had great discussions and I've met a lot of great people just through the program. Everybody you talk to, they have a network, and if you ask, they will be happy to connect you to their network. So that's, for me, that's a really great resource.
That's great. So 8 months in, did the program contribute to your professional development and career goals in foresight, and in what way did it contribute?
Personally, I don't really believe that you should stop learning. I think you have to be a lifelong learner despite how much you know or how well you think you know a topic or a field. So this program in particular really helped me to further my understanding of foresight, whether through Patricia's book, where we meet every month to discuss a chapter, or either through the experts and fellow discussions. The field in nature is really global. So this is what I was looking for in a program. I was looking for the ability to grow and develop within a global community or experience, because ultimately, when it boils down to practice, you really need to develop your skill of taking those tools and applying them back to your work or your community, and it's not always straightforward. So the Emerging Fellow program really contributed to my understanding and my confidence into being comfortable with those tools, and as well as having a safe space for me to go back and forth on how to work with this issue, how to introduce that, and learning from other fellows, because we all come from different parts of the world. So when I attend their discussions or listen to their either a challenge or an opportunity that they're presenting, it definitely opens up a lot of possibilities in my perspective.
Awesome. So in terms of your understanding of the field of foresight and your role as a professional futurist, how did this change in the 8 months that you were in the program?
Yeah, so I'm almost 8 months into this 2-year program, but I can notice how it solidified my understanding of the field through the diversity of thought. I think the contrast between all these schools of thought has been really helpful for me to understand those differences and perspectives and to map out the landscape of the field. Because at the end of the day, I'm really surprised and I'm really interested in how the plurality of foresight as a discipline and the crossover it has with other fields like design. In my experience, I see a lot of overlap with design and other people in engineering or social work or social innovation. So it was helpful in that sense. I also learned a lot by reading, monitoring the mail lists, when the members go back and forth on recent issues. It enabled me to create that mental model about certain topics that I'm not necessarily an expert at, but it really helped to be an observer through these email threads. The other thing I wanted to mention is the writing too. So I'm really surprised how much of an impact a fellow can have just through their writing. I connected with so many people through LinkedIn. Writing those blogs, it showed me how much of an impact we have as fellows. And that leads me to my next point. When you get into the program, it's not only that you're receiving information or you're a recipient of the experience, it's a two-way communication style. We bring into the experience and to other members of information or knowledge or experience as much as we're learning. So keep that in mind. And I think that experience really developed or heightened that sense in me of, okay, I'm here not only as a student or as a fellow or as a learner, I'm also a participant. So I kept that in my head throughout the experience. That brings me to the voice aspect. When you're writing, when you're having these discussions and conversations with other fellows, you can see how much of an impact that has on your voice, because that enables you to really develop that clear understanding of what you want to do or where you want to go in your work. Not every futurist wants to pursue, let's say, systems thinking, for example. Some people want to pursue other aspects. Some people are really good at scanning. Others are really focused on AI and its development. So you have this as a platform to develop your voice and to, in turn, cultivate that community. And I guess the last thing I want to mention for future fellows is to really engage in the community prior to applying. There's a lot to learn just by volunteering and engaging. For you to get the sense if this is the thing that you want to do or not, most likely, I think you will find it very helpful and you will enjoy it. But again, read the articles, see how other fellows are presenting their ideas. Also, the members article space is very beneficial, as well as reach out to us. There's so much to learn out there, but again, we understand there are sometimes you have certain questions that are not answered or can be found. So please reach out to us and ask us about it. And the most important part is to ask yourself really why you want this. If you're considering this program, why do you want that and what are your objectives behind it? Because the application is very short and sweet, it's really important for you to be precise and very clear with your objectives to really increase your chances of being selected as an emerging fellow. So good luck, and we are looking forward to meeting you next year.
Awesome. I have one last question for you.
Sure. Yeah.
What to you was the most fun part of being an emerging fellow?
Honestly, the most fun part for me is the community. The beginning of the program, I lived in Houston, so we met at 6 in the morning, so I had to wake up an hour early. But every time I wake up, I'm so excited because I'm meeting my fellows and we're talking about issues. And even on a personal level, I really enjoyed connecting with the 22 and 21 fellows, even on a personal level. So for me, that was really the most fun part, as well as giving and receiving feedback. For me, I learned that way by having back and forth conversations. So that was really fun for me.
Great. So congratulations. And I know that you will enjoy the rest of the fellowship. And I'm so happy reading your work and learning from you also. Thank you very much.
Likewise, Sheila. Thank you so much for interviewing me.